Welcome back to another episode of Unranked Podcast. We got on the slate for y'all today. I'm going to touch on the ass kicking that transpired down in East Lansing this past Saturday, beat Michigan State 49-0. Um, touch on the Pistons. First time this year, we'll be just talking, or since the draft, I should say. So we'll be talking a little bit about Detroit basketball. Had a tough loss last night, but I think they fought to the end and like a lot of what I saw there. I know you said you liked a lot of what you saw there too, E. And then finish things off, we just talk about the Lions. Obviously, had a pretty disappointing Sunday this past Sunday, but looking forward to seeing them, turn the page and make a statement. Monday night, first Monday night football game since 2018. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, go ahead and kick it off to you, Eli. Want to see your thoughts on the Michigan State game this past weekend.
Yeah, no, so that was, exact type of atmosphere, type of game that I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Bless
Exact
you.
type of game I was rooting for, looking for. I think I said in the last pod that if we could get to that 50-0 mark and I call it like a system reset on this rivalry. I think State fans have been a little arrogant, a little pompous over the last, call it 10 years, due to
Mm-hmm.
how they were, how good they were in the early to mid 2000s, 2000 teens. And I just look at how dominant we are and just what this means to the rivalry. And as far as I'm concerned, this turns the lights off on their season. They don't care from here on out. You heard their players say this is if they
Super
win this,
Bowl.
it's their Super Bowl. If they win this, their season means something. It's crazy for somebody to say that when they're sitting there at 2-4, 2-5. Uh, that ass whooping happens. They got a couple of games against some okay to mediocre Big Ten teams in Minnesota, Nebraska, and Indiana. Outside of that, they play Ohio State and Penn State. So they have two more complete annihilations coming their way. I just kind of, like I said, it's going to turn the lights out on this season for them. And as
Mm-hmm.
far as us, I think you've seen why JJ is one of the best quarterbacks in not just the Big Ten but the country. Just how thorough he runs that offense, how smooth it all is, the command he has. I know that's a generic word kind of for quarterback, but it's true when it comes to him and what he's doing in the offense. And
Mm-hmm.
just staying mobile with his eyes downfield, always, looking to make a play downfield passing, and but yet will still tuck that ball and run for some needed yards when happening or when needed.
Yeah.
Some of those passes, the one to Loveland, is an NFL type throw. We'll be seeing that when he gets drafted. They'll be showing that on replay, and so it's throws like that makes him one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. And the reason why, we're marching towards another Big Ten championship, marching towards beating Ohio again, is on a lot of that's on the shoulders of him and just what he's doing. So I was thrilled, and obviously defense got the shutout, something I've been rooting for and hoping for all season, and why not against your second biggest rival? And go ahead and shut out little brother.
Right. Yeah. No, I echo a lot of that. I think what I'm gonna end up doing on here, I just want to I'm gonna keep beating like a horse, but just the depth once again. Like to me, it's just impressive. I'm looking at the box score. I mean, our two tight ends, AJ Barter and Colston Loveland, combined for 178 yards and 3 touchdowns. And
That's phenomenal.
just casually, just decided that it was going to be their night to shine this past weekend. I just think that's just great. That it does
Yeah,
numbers
and
for.
just a side note on them real quick, and you can continue. But
Yeah.
I read that they were the 1-2 in tight end grades this week, in
Mm-hmm.
all of football, I think, or all of college football, ranked 1 and 2 in football grades. So, I mean, just you can't get no better.
Right.
They a clinic on what it is to be a Big Ten tight end in those games.
Mm-hmm. I like the Barner guy a lot. Transfer from Indiana. They look so alike. It's kind of hard, until somebody caught the ball and like got up. It's kind of hard to figure out who was who. But I mean, they were just running some great routes, getting open. It was tearing the middle of that field up the entire night. I enjoyed watching JJ just be able to press the line of scrimmage the way that he has been, this year, really making the defense, putting them in some tough spots. And once again, you got, freshman Samaj Morgan on here, three catches for 39 yards. Just the depth, Frederick Moore, like to see a lot of these other like younger guys, freshmen getting in, and it's all just great experience. You never know who could go down, as we get, into November. We start, I called it last year, like this kind of this early playoff run. For us, it kind of starts in November, just based on, what our schedule looks like towards the end of the year. Yeah, and I think the defense, they did what they did. I think all around, just glad that we just got in. Nobody got injured. We just handled business. I just thought it was funny that you know, anytime State even thought they had some momentum, we just not like shut the door. I mean, we slammed it shut. Like they were driving a little bit. Sanford still takes a pick six to the crib. They had, a drive where they got like a first down or two. And we made sure to just like, lock back in and just make them punt. Just looking at their box score. I mean, Hauser was, had 100 yards and a pick. They had their backup came in 32 yards and a pick. Running back averaged 2.1 yards per carry. They had, one guy ran for 10 yards, but other than that, I mean, it was just about as clean a performance that I think it's probably their like every performance has been like outperforming the previous one from this Michigan team, and I expect them to just continue to get better and better as the season goes on.
No, I agree, and just looking at the total yards here, 182, and even that seems like I can't even watching the game. I don't feel like they got 182 yards, but 182 yards. I think I don't know if you exactly just said this, but 59 plays, 3.1 yards a carry or per play versus 7, and we completely removed. I mean, we would have scored 77 points if we would have left JJ Blake Edwards in. We pulled them. I think Blake was probably on the bench hanging out 6 minutes into the third quarter. And so if we wouldn't have did that, even like a lot of teams wouldn't have. A lot of teams, depending on who your coach is, they want you to win that Heisman. They'll leave you in a little bit, let you run it up, right. Go ahead and get you a 400 piece, so I think there was a lot of that a lot of coaches would do that. We just not going to do around Michigan, but that doesn't take away from the complete route. And I absolutely love that we put the final exclamation point on and basically ran the same play 4, 5, 6 times in a row with orgy down their gut. And I love that. It's just disrespectful. A little more disrespectful.
The clock running down.
So, I was thrilled that we did it. Just disrespect.
For sure.
On the road, their stadium, they were cleared out. It looked. They showed they were painting away at one point mid fourth quarter. It was 15,000 people left in there, and 14,000 of them were Michigan fans. So I said I wanted to see the basketball tweets by the end of the night, and they were helping us out. I mean, they had an Izzo halftime speech interview, so I think they knew what was happening. That was pre-planned. So I think it's a great day to be a Michigan Wolverine. So.
Sure. I just kind of sort of feel bad that they thought it was necessary to go out there in those nice black uniforms, and
I can't get.
It's like I thought you'd bring that out against like
those uniforms now. You can't bring them.
Yeah, like now you got to put them away till whenever they get over 500 again. So yeah, and I think all in all, kind of put just a button on it here. I mean, I think JJ's playing at a high level. And I like that, everybody's like, we're just getting in, we're handling business, we're sitting guys down, and we're just moving on, to the next team, to the next week. So it's just great to see. So yeah, we'll just shift gears here and talk about the good old Detroit Pistons. I think overall, they had a solid showing last night. I kind of hated just seeing them kind of had some runs on them where they was getting down, 10, 15 points. But I do like how they fought back. Both in love with what I saw from Cade as well. Just wanted to kind of see what your thoughts were on the game last night, what you liked and what you didn't like.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, it was good just to see Cade back out there. I think we will go as he goes. If he gives us 80% of what he did last night, we're fighting for a playing spot. I think I feel pretty confident in saying that. So
for sure,
assuming he'll give us I don't know. I don't want to put too much on him, but 65 games, like you said about all the other guys earlier, assuming he can give us 65 games at about that, I think we're a playing type team. But
Mhm.
um, him, Duran, uh, I mean, it was I, Ivy. We can have a whole conversation about that and and what that means. But I think overall, just the Cade show and just how good he looked, how confident he looked, storming back against a team that I couldn't tell you how many games they won last year, but I know they were a play-in team that made it all the way to the championship. So they obviously got championship DNA, good coaching Spoelstra.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
they've been to the championship what two times in the last 3 or 4 years. So
Conference
uh,
championship the last
yeah,
like 4 to 5 years.
yeah. So and put him had him on the ropes, on the road, young team. So I think all signs pointed towards we're headed in the right direction. And
Yeah.
you know, Bogdanovich didn't play, Monte Morris didn't play. Both of them guys are injured. I said this earlier, joked around, but Joe Harris pulled a Tony Snell. He was out there for I think it was 14 minutes and literally didn't record a stat. So that's not going to happen night in and night out. So all good things I think. And I would have loved for Cade to get that. Cade hit that game winner, game one of this year. I think that just catapults your self
Yeah.
esteem. That catapults you. He would have been all over ESPN all night. Game one, opening winner, but it didn't happen, and I think he'll come back to keep fighting.
Sure. Yeah, I think one thing is kind of look at this box score. He didn't get a ton of help. Stewart and Duran played well. Duran, I mean, he was pushing around Adebayo, and Adebayo's perennial. He's always in the
Yep.
conversation for defensive player of the year. A player that's talked about being able to guard all five positions, have all this versatility, and Duran at 19 years old, it's crazy to still be saying that this is his second year and he's still a teenager. I mean, his stat line is just ridiculous to me. 17 points, 4 blocks, 4 assists, 14 rebounds, 14 rebounds. I mean, that's just, I think I sent you something that was like the first time ever that a player that young has had that type of stat line. Isaiah Stewart, I didn't really love him, just kind of being behind that 3-point line, but he's starting to show that he can hit it at a decent clip. He was 2 or 3 from 3. He added another 14 rebounds.
Yeah.
Asar,
Let me mention something real quick
for sure.
about Isaiah Stewart. I think I agree with you. I remember like dating back to early podcast. I said if Isaiah Stewart's out there shooting threes for us, then something's wrong.
Yeah.
So, and I still kind of live with that sentiment. But the one thing I wanted to say was, watching that game last night, I noticed that he did hit the couple, but he didn't fall in love with it. He hit it,
Right.
started driving. There was one near the end of the game, wide open three. He waited for Kevin Love to come out at him, put the ball on the ground, went right around, hit a little baby hook. I think that's the growth and development you're looking for in those younger guys that have been around on a team for a couple of years that really begin to learn what they're good at, what they're not good at. So,
Yeah.
no, I didn't want to hijack it, but I
No, you're
that was
good.
something that was a little promising because I think him and Duran was a good little combo.
Yeah. And I like the efficiency. He shot 3, hit 2. So I think it's,
Yep.
as long as he ain't back there trying to shoot 5, 6, 7, I think it's one of those things coaches probably tell him, like, all right, hit 2 or 3, didn't hit him. We'll kind of see how it transpires and how
Yeah,
he
no,
starts
it's
to
one of
kind of
those. You start out 0 for 2, you don't shoot a throw.
right. It's like, we
Yeah,
got to, yeah, right. Just be a little smart about, how when the next one coming, the next shot, next 3-pointer you're going to decide to take. But yeah, I think, I'm looking at this, Asar Thompson,
crazy.
twin, he had a solid game. 3 blocks in the first quarter. Struggled a little bit shooting. Saw you hit a 3. And I expected that. What I like though is just 5 blocks, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. I think we both just kind of talked about how we've noticed that him and his brother's kind of these stat sheet stuffers where
And just plays good in the flow of the game. Like
yeah,
he looks like he fits. He's obviously
yep,
young, but he looks like he fits. He's athletic enough. Um he got I think he got fouled on it, but he went up strong, got fouled, 2-hand slam. He ended up not slamming it, but he went up for the 2-hand slam. And I just think that was the kind of we both kind of looked like little side-eyed at that when we took him. But I think
Yeah.
what all we have, and assuming people stay healthy, I think he does fit very well.
Hmm.
And just kind of like you said, a stat sheet stuffer doesn't mind doing anything on any given night,
Right.
uh, is what it seems to be, and plays great defense. I think he'll be, you know, in the ilk of like a Tayshaun Prince wing defender for us. You know,
Hmm.
where long, lanky, disrupts things, and it's obviously I'm looking ahead, but I want a great team right here. But that'd be so great with him and Cade because then Cade don't have to deal with that.
Right.
Ivy don't deal with that. It's this guy that can go get dirty work.
Yep.
Dirty work.
I was gonna say, yeah, you can go guard, possibly go guard the team's best defender, or excuse me, go guard the team's best player, other team's best player, take pressure off of K, not having to, check certain guys night in and night out, let him just really do what he did last night, just be super aggressive on offense. That's what we're gonna need. I know it was like the first game, a lot of guys come out kind of shooting a little funky here and there, and or just not don't really got it going right away. But Thompson, he did some kind of weird, it wasn't nothing crazy, but like he got an offensive rebound, caught it, took one step, and was able to just like throw it over his head, like out to somebody at
Yeah,
the 3-point line. It was just a very like athletic play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just he's got, like, you can tell the IQ is just there. He just needs some time to kind of get things rolling. But I can see him just kind of being like a stat sheet stuffer, but like a defense first. Like, I can see that kind of like being his bread and butter
I
starting
don't
out.
want to say this, but a la Draymond type deal. Like I,
Yeah.
like somewhere in that world, hopefully better shooter, but somewhere in that world where
Yeah, for sure.
just tough nosed defender. I mean, he's still what, probably 19 also.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I heard today the oldest guy we had starting last night was 24, I think.
Yeah. He turned 20 in January. I think, yeah, Killian, 22 years old. Yeah. So it's
So
I like what I saw from him yesterday. And it'll be good to just see how it kind of transpires, as the season goes on. Because I know there was some kind of talk around, you know, I'd be curious to see like when Bogdanovich comes back, how things will look. We try to like, put him at the four and have Stewart go back to the bench, leave Osora in there. You know what I'm saying? It'd be interesting because we'll kind of take a step back about Bogdanovich on the defensive end, even though he'll be a better scorer. So but yeah, I think he's kind of touched on some other guys too. I do like the bench did a little, it went in, played well. Bagley, 8 points, didn't miss a field goal. So you said Joe Harris pulled a Tony Snell yesterday. But
yeah,
one thing that was really glaring to me was just Ivy. Like, he just did not look comfortable. 1 to 7, 2 or 3, had a couple assists, 3 turnovers, 3 assists, had some fouls. That was just weird. Like, I wasn't really locked in on the preseason like that just because of, really watching, focusing on football. But it kind of threw me for a loop when I saw that Killian was starting. Yeah.
yeah. I'm hoping, I don't know what that is about, but I'm hoping he can either take on the second off the bench type role, or maybe maybe there's something we don't know about that overcomes quickly. But I don't know. And when Killian, let me look here.
Heard it might be defense. I think he's kind of, Williams is really trying to prioritize defense. I heard that Jade not really all locked in on that side of the ball all the time. And then, to me, this is like very telling though. It's like, granted, new coaching staff, we've kind of seen, what we've seen from Killian. And I think, you know what I'm saying, compared to what Ivy did as rookie last year. So it was just interesting. Like, that was very surprising to like see that kind of, like, to see them trot out Killian in that starting lineup. So hopefully Ivy can bounce back and have a solid game this next game against the Hornets.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward. I mean, long season. We're
Right,
gonna need every one of these guys to contribute in some way, somehow.
for sure.
It's just a matter of gelling it all together. But I like I like the. I mean, more fight and better. I mean, that was the first enjoyable Pistons game I've seen since Cade went down in November of last year. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Cade looked good as advertised. I saw, granted, one game, but like, that's what you wanted to see. Coming off that major injury that he had the off season to get healthy, get stronger, and put up 30 and 9. Like I said, against one of the tougher teams in the Eastern Conference, it was great to see for sure.
yep,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
we'll see how they can keep things rolling here. Like I said, I jokingly call it a moral like a nice loss just because of how I feel like they fought. So I'll be curious to see if they play the Charlotte Hornets team that's not in the same caliber as or tier as the Miami Heat are. But yeah, we can shift gears here and talk about the outcome of that Ravens Lions game last week. I told you before I hopped on here. I think something that kind of helped me get over it a little bit quicker was I fell asleep the entire second half, so I didn't see not one thing until I watched highlights. Like later on into the week. But it was tough. I mean, they got. I mean, you sit down and Sunday, you think, the team's been playing great. You think they're gonna, be in this. You think it's gonna be a great game, and we just never got comfortable. I mean, I feels like the game plan was kind of out the window after it was 21-zip, and it was just like really, it was an avalanche that we just couldn't stop, and it was over before it even really like started. So yeah, just want to kind of see your thoughts on, how they looked and yeah, overall how the game went.
Yeah, no, I mean, so you said you fell asleep the second half, and I would say our coaching staff fell asleep the whole game. So it just seemed one of those like it was very, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I think we were texting very early on, like I don't understand the game plan.
yeah,
It was
weird.
like they approached it as if this was 2019, and the whole league thought Lamar Jackson couldn't pass. It was
Yeah,
one of those like that's how we approached it. We said, okay, we're gonna sit back. We're gonna send 3 defenders and drop 8 and just kind of just see if he can pick us apart. And that's exactly what he did. And it was, I mean, I can't, to my knowledge, did he even take off and run on us one time? I don't. But I just think he just sat back in that pocket, passed for 350 yards, clean. And it looked like we made no adjustments.
right.
It looked like there was no. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was going to say, to me, it just looked like we were just like I said before we got on here, it's irritating to even like say it again. It's like we just assumed that he just can't throw. Like I read that the game plan was essentially keep him in the pocket. We couldn't get a pass rush, and he just picked us apart. So I think if we would have just played him, aggressively and like put him in some spots where he had to make some decisions, I think we would have had more of a shot. But we just kind of laid back and let him literally. As soon as I saw when he started to press line of scrimmage and Anzalone was kind of like in between, this like the first drive was in between trying to get him and then left his man. And then Zay Flowers went for like 60 plus to kind of start the game off. Like, yeah, he literally just like flicked it to him. Almost like an option play. I'm like, we're going to be in some trouble today. Just how off of like how I was watching them just play him. Like they were like almost scared to commit. I feel like player like Lamar, you got to just go at him. You can't like leave him in the pocket. He's an NFL quarterback. He's going to pick you apart, whether with his legs, with his arm. So I think we just should have been more aggressive in trying to like put him in tough spots and not just sit back. And so our secondary is depleted. Jerry Jacobs was hurt.
Yep.
Didn't even, like literally was a scratch before the game. We got, Gardner Johnson on IR. Emmanuel Mosley is on IR. Like we just didn't put ourselves in a situation of success.
No.
We have all these guys hurt on defense.
Yeah, 100%. And we didn't put ourselves in a situation to win at all. The game plan wasn't working. Like even if you thought, okay, this is how we're gonna have to defend him for some reason, it didn't work, and you never changed up.
Yeah,
they were going down the field like a track meet, 7-on-7. That's what it looked like. He was standing there in pocket clean. Hutch looked like a pedestrian. The defensive line looked like pedestrian. It was like nothing was firing. It didn't look like the defense that we've seen the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah.
Top
like
where we going into the game, we were at what a top 2 or top 5 rushing.
Yeah, top 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I just don't understand the overall game plan and then not making the adjustments. It was I don't know. But and then on the offensive side of the ball, Jared Goff, it looked like one of them California boys. Apparently, it was a little windy. The ball was fluttering around, a little, as Coach Tolbert was saying, the quack, 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 ducks.
Yeah.
It kind of looked, it didn't look good for him, so it was one of those, like, thank God we got a dome indoor stadium. So, because, and you begin to see a little bit of that chinking him as well. It wasn't that bad out, and just things got bad, and he didn't step up to the plate like he did a few weeks back. what was that, the
Yeah.
Carolina game maybe, when he lit it up, so
Or even that Tampa Bay game, because I jokingly take partial blame because I was singing his praises when he threw for 350 and a couple tugs
maybe
against
that's the game I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Bay. And then, I ain't gonna say I saw this coming, but it just kind of felt like it was like, oh, okay. Like, now things like now it's like, I don't know, like I think, like I said before we got on here, I feel like the Ravens would do that to anybody. I think it was like a bad combination of just us not having a great game plan on this high. Goff's playing his tail off. Defense, what I'm saying? The team is just playing, playing at like a super high level. You got this like powerhouse in the AFC that was kind of figuring stuff out, dropped a couple games or two, new offensive coordinator, and they just got it clicking. And it just so happened to be that we were the team that they got it clicking against. And it gets tough because I think like obviously what happens, their team, obviously. So it's like defense starts getting their ass kicked, the offense starts to just kind of feel it because, they're down 14 zip and the Ravens can just kind of tee off on us and just, really like get into like the pressure and blitzing and make things even more difficult for Goff. And yeah, they just carried through the entire team. Like we just really had a tough time. Even St. Brown, he had 19 targets, dropped like 4 of them. We still had 13 catches, 100 yards, still did well. I mean, as the game kind of went on, I felt like we were able to kind of get comfortable and getting a little bit of a rhythm for what I saw just in that second half from highlights, but just tough day. Tough day.
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
Yeah, no. Tough day at the office. Hopefully they can put it behind them. I think the Ravens are a Super Bowl upper type team.
Absolutely.
All right, man, I'm over here dying. But we are still fighting to figure out what we are and who, and the consistency, that they show versus what we show. And I just think, I don't know. It's, you can't dwell on that loss too much. And
Right.
I think moving forward, that's how, we'll see what this team is made of. I know, I mean, I don't know. I think if we would have won that game, it probably would have sent our fan base and the team to another stratosphere.
Yeah.
And not saying that you want to lose the team lose the team. No, I think you'd much rather get those wins under your belt. But the next time you'll possibly see them, and that, running, he didn't run on us, but the fear of a running quarterback maybe is our kryptonite. And so the next time that we would even bump into them would be the Super Bowl, and that'd be a good problem to have.
For sure. I think too, just to kind of like put a button on it here. I mean, we went through the schedule hundreds of times trying to figure out where wins would be, where losses would be. I can guarantee that none of us picked them to beat Kansas City. Nope. And none of us, and I can at least say myself with confidence, I did not pick them to beat the Ravens at home. Like that was, so you know what I'm saying? So I think like what kind of gave me a little more like helped me kind of just flush it away, just not get too irritated about it or for so long was just kind of saw this coming. You just wish they would have showed up, 27-17 or like, 28-14, 31-17, something, maybe lose by a score or two. It was just kind of surprising to watch it transpire in the way that it did so quickly.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree.
They could very well be a 1 seed. I mean, like I said, like the fact that we beat Kansas City and they beat us and they handle business on their end of things, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up like winning that division, being a 1 or 2 seed at the end of the season. I think we just lost to a really, really good football team, and they caught us on a bad day.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I know you're going to be in the building on downtown Detroit Monday night. The Raiders coming to town. So I kind of, bounce back game. Home crowd. We seem to be a force to be reckoned with at home. Has been for the last 2 years. Have been even when we were bad. It was a tough place to play at home. So kind of, I guess, what are your thoughts as a person that's going to be sitting in the stands Monday night? Like I think you said before we hopped on, first Monday night game in 5 years.
Yep.
Those would have been the old Stafford years. So kind of what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, no, I'm ecstatic. I think it's going to be electric. Just the timing of it, Halloween being, that Tuesday. Like you said, first Monday night football game. I think the last Monday night football game we had was Stafford was here. We lost to the Jets like 33-0. So I'm expecting a completely different outcome than that this time around. New quarterback, different team, all across the board, obviously. I think I'm looking at this as just an opportunity. I mean, watched the Raiders play quite a bit. Haven't had a choice but to watch them. They've been in prime time, I think 4 out of the first like 7 or 8 weeks of the season. So, Garoppolo, he's been deemed a winner. Spent a lot of time in San Fran where things were just like pretty much perfect around him quite a bit, and he still kind of found ways to struggle. Obviously, they didn't even really want him there. He's been playing solid. He's a solid quarterback. I think for me, the biggest thing that we'll have to just be mindful of this game is just not shoot ourselves in the foot. They got a solid defense. Max Crosby, we gotta know where he's at as soon as he gets off the bus. I mean, he's literally like, watch him play quite a bit. He's a very disruptive player, probably one of the best defensive ends in the league. Played at Eastern Michigan, so he's going to be fired up, ready to just wreck the game. And all it takes is one sack to just destroy the game and have it go a different way. They were rolling for a second. They beat the Packers, they beat the Patriots, and they dropped a horrible one against the Bears. Backup undrafted quarterback that played at this Colorado School of Mines. So they're going to also just be besides themselves. This for them, this is like hey, we can go into Detroit. This is our get right game. So I think that we just gotta, get back on track. I know Campbell gonna, have him right. He said, listen to his press conferences this week. I have no doubt in my mind that they'll come out, with great energy, and a good game plan to get the job done.
Yeah, I heard him talking about the energy. I heard him talking about keep the energy up. But no, so I think that the fans are hungry for it. They obviously, you're going with a group of guys. I know a couple other people are going, so I know that stadium is obviously going to be sold out. I think everybody's looking for a good time, and ready to root for the Lions. So I think that stadium is going to be rocking. Looking here, I don't know if you got better intel than me or not. It looks like Garoppolo possibly might not play, like a little banged up.
It's always on track. But yeah, so it could
be either way, he'll be a little hobbled. He'll be a little hobbled if nothing else. So Hutch, Bugs, they could try to, disrupt, get back there. Hutch he's a little behind the 8 ball now as far as them sacks. He didn't get one last week, so you got to try to make up for that.
For sure.
Maybe try to get a 2-for in this game with a little, hobbled quarterback. If not, their backups would be a tremendous for us, but their backups are Brian Hoyer and Adrian O'Connor, the Purdue quarterback from last year.
Oh, yeah.
So, you don't wish injuries upon people, but if that happens to happen, that'd be like teeing off for our defense. So, good game to come back, bounce back at. I'm looking forward to it. I think, I do. I feel good about it. I think obviously Devontae Adams is scary.
They got some sneaky weapons, just kind of like
weapons around. Even Josh Jacobs, 2.9 yards to carry, longest rush 24 yards, so he's overdue a little skirmish, get loose. Hopefully it doesn't happen versus us, but they definitely got some guys out there that can get you. You can't be too lackadaisical. A way bigger threat than anybody we've as far as Devontae Adams than last week. So hopefully Jerry Judy's playing. I don't know if he's back or not, but
I don't think so.
Yeah, but regardless, big time test for our defense there, just to try to man up with him, being a couple of guys down. So I'm looking forward to it though. And the only irritating thing I think about is I do look forward to watching the Pistons or the Lions here. So waiting that whole another day, sitting around trying to find games to watch on Sunday. That's gonna be a little bit of a change up again. But
and I was gonna say too is one thing that's just like big for this game. They already beat the Packers, so it's like, this is where you gotta we beat them now. The Packers look pretty bad as of right now, but that just do wonders for us to get later into the season. You never know what can happen as it gets later into the season. They already lost to the Bears. They lost to the Bears. So it's like we gotta, you know what I'm saying? We should be able to get this game, take care of business. Just do nothing but help us in the division overall, as far as just any issues around tiebreakers potentially, because we do got to see the Bears twice and the Vikings twice, in this back half of the season. So it's just one of those, get in there, not play with your food, I think they're gonna be irritated. They got embarrassed. A lot of teams usually when this happens, they usually come back with a vengeance and ready to come punch somebody in the mouth. And I know they probably wish they could play Sunday too, because I know they're gonna be chomping at the bit to just get play in front, get in front of another opponent and prove themselves that they are the real deal.
Yeah, yeah, like you said, they lost to a quarterback that I heard him talk about him. He had he got sacked 8 times at the School of Mines, had a
Yeah,
4 pick game. Like, he's one of them guys you even wonder how he made it in the league, but put together a
right,
game. And that's not the team you want them someone to put together a game against. So, but
right.
no, I think, and just looking at their wins, I think, I don't know, it's they could easily beat you. They really could, but it's also
Yeah,
one of those things where you don't really know how trustworthy some of these wins are.
Broncos.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking at yeah,
Like
Denver
look what we
Broncos.
did to the
Yeah,
Packers.
they've only scored 21. That's their high. Yeah, that's their highest points they scored all year, 21.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, even the Packers, like we were up 27-3. They only beat them by 4.
yeah. So, and that's a nasty loss, 30-12. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
so no, I'm just, I think that stadium's gonna be rocking. I feel like this is a great bounce back game for us, and I think you pointed out last week that after that last game was we have one more road game after, not road, but
outside.
side game, and then we get in the meat and potatoes of our division here, uh,
Mm-hmm.
against the teams that look like some bottom feeders. So you go
Right.
ahead, still a game versus a team that's kind of teeter tottering on 500, and then switch gears into your division, get the
Mm-hmm.
Bears, get Vikings. I think we got everything in place here. Like you said, that you start winning these strategic games and seeding yourself better
Mm-hmm.
for come late December. This could be like, you don't want this to be the Carolina game. You don't want
Right.
this to be the one thing that held you back. So
Mm-hmm. I think one thing I just like about these brand new Lions is like last year, they dropped a pretty tough one to the Bills on Thanksgiving, but then they came out and they won like 2 or 3 in a row. Then they, ended up losing that tough game to Carolina, but then they came out, ended up winning the rest of their games. And one of them was, sending the Packers home, knowing themselves weren't going to the playoffs, and they went to Lambeau and still sent them home. So I expect them to, use the crowd as fuel. And I'm sure, just kind of hearing whenever we've lost, I feel like a lot of guys are like, yeah, we let the fans down. So I think for them, it's like, I think it's almost like personal. So I think they are going to go out here and just really be like, we owe the fans one. And then they watched us get beat down last week. We got to come back out here and, prove that we are who we say we are. And we're not, this isn't just fluke.
yeah, no, I give that in the coaches.
Yeah.
They gotta step up. You still, we a couple
Yeah.
of things, and this is a whole another conversation, but I still want to find ways to get Gibbs the ball in space,
Mm-hmm.
keep that dynamic going. Make sure that we're working Jameson in is thoroughly, using him in any way possible. Just I think obviously want to ease him in as well, but I think these are the times where there's no reason to hold back. Where
Right.
you got a couple wins under your belt. You got a little something to work with, and also you don't want to play too conservative and start to lose games because you're thinking you have it in the bag already. We just can play
Right.
cheap the rest of the year. You still got to go out and be exciting, uh take those strategic risks.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact. And I'm just kind of looking at this depth chart. It's a lot of questionable tags. Still just kind of pepper through these lineups, and we'll have to dig into it a whole lot today, but I'll be curious to even see. Well, trade deadline's Tuesday. So just to kind of throw it out here, before we go out the door, you want to, with the score prediction, you want to, is there any, if you were to prioritize one position on a team right now we could trade for, is there anybody out there that you'd want to target? And is like, what position would you want to target?
Yeah. I guess I don't know. I'm speaking on a little. You, assuming Montgomery comes back relatively soon.
Yeah, we got a bye
Yeah,
week next week, so he should be, yeah.
yeah. Assuming he comes back, let's say in 2-3 weeks, I would take a running back off the table. If he doesn't, though, I think running back could be upper end of that list. But I would say maybe just I would say shore up that D line, another pass rush specialist,
Yes.
or maybe try to go get a corner. Those would be the two I would say.
Yeah.
Assuming Montgomery comes back. If Montgomery doesn't, I think we got to address that first because that's just going to affect so much of what we want to do on offense.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I think last week just showed me like we definitely need some more juice at pass rush. Like it's there, and then there's days where it's not. You know what I'm saying? Or I feel like that game was where it was like non-existent, just how it was in the Seattle game. So I think if we could get Montrez Sweat, guy from the from Washington. Also heard that Chase Young might be on the trade block. Only thing that kind of worries me is like, then you got to kind of pay one of these guys. That's kind of why they're trading them. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think if we could get a little shot in the arm and on the D line, or like you said, with running back, like it'd be ideal as long as we ain't like, going after like Saquon and trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as it's something that just kind of makes sense long term. Because I did see, like Campbell was saying too, like, yeah, we might make some calls here and there, but we're not really in the business of trying. They feel like they feel like they have the team, whoever they need, and already there to kind of like go to the next level. It just sucks. Some of these injuries start to kind of transpire, but yeah, I think defensive end, like another edge rusher, would be huge. Help them DBs out. They thin back there right now, so.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I wouldn't break the bank to go do it, but I hate to talk out of both sides of my butt here, but I wouldn't break the bank to go do it. But I back to just not being too
conservative. Yeah. That's a good point.
I think you gotta kind of project a little forward. Okay, what happens if knock on wood Hutch goes down? What happens if knock on wood? It's like you're knock on wood for us, whatever. But let's say Hutch goes down for 2 weeks. Who's on that D line? So you gotta kind of play the scenarios of best and worst case scenario moving forward. Best case, you trade for Chase Young or a Sweat or whatever. Your D line is tier top.
Yeah, for sure.
Worst case, somebody else goes down on the D line, and it's next man up mentality. You're not losing out on nothing. So, I know NFL often people get traded, even good players get traded for seems like pennies. So I would imagine you could go get one of those guys for nothing too crazy.
Second or third.
Yeah, something like that, and then maybe service rent them with a tag or something like that. Try to play that game, and then I wouldn't be mad at that at all. Go get Chase Young and Hutch. I mean, please.
Yeah,
you can do that for a second or a third or 2/3 or whatever. I mean, hey, what are we really talking about in the grand scheme of things? Yeah. So
I'm with you. Yeah, no, I think it'd be great to they get a little more shot in the arm, get a shot in the arm on defense. We watched Philly last year; they got Ndamukong Suh and another pass rusher. Guys, granted, they're kind of only at the other end of their careers, but I think if we could get in somebody like situational, come give us 20, 30 plays, come play third and long, just to help Hutch get to the quarterback quicker. I think that'll do, just make his job a little easier. I think that'll do numbers for the defense.
Yeah, and just not to tee off on Hutch, as far as, even not even as great as somebody like Chase Young, just putting another formidable guy on that D line, like Mitch.
Yeah.
Who you gonna focus on? That type of mindset.
Right. For sure. So yeah, you want to do a quick little score prediction here?
Yes, I was trying to figure out real quick if I can figure out what they're asking for Chase Young, but I don't see anything.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, I definitely do. I think we're gonna bounce back on this one. I'm putting it on. I have some reservations about the team, but I'm not gonna put it all on them due to losing to Lamar Jackson and them. But with that being said, you got to bounce back on this one. Go ahead and knock this out. Home game, national televised game, whatever they hold in there, they're going to be rocking. I think you guys are going to have a time of your night in that. So that being said, I think I'll go 30-17.
Okay.
I think I think our defense is obviously a little beat up, but they haven't scored more than 21 all year. Our offense got practically shut out for all practical purposes last week. I think they're going to be looking to come back and bounce back, and we always play better at home. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 27-17. I think, like I said, that NFL's just forced me to watch the Raiders a few times this year, and it's been painful. But they got a solid defense. That's kept them in games, and I think as the game goes on, will just be a little too tough for them to, hang in there. And I think we'll start to impose our will as the game gets going and score a touchdown to kind of in the fourth to kind of put it away for good.
Yeah, no, I ain't mad at it.
Yeah,
I'm mad at it. I think I think we're overdue a couple. Maybe J-Mo can have a breakout game, not just a touchdown, but a couple. 5 catches, a buck 10 or something. Try to put together some consistency and not just blow the top off the defense.
Well, toys out the box. Yeah, breakout game.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see what they got. Let's keep it. They've all been introduced. They all got your toes wet a little bit. Let's go ahead and throw them in the water.
Right. And then after this, you got a bye week. Then you got to go to LA to see the Chargers. So it's like let's get this first 8 games of the season. Let's finish on a good note. Get healthy. Go out to LA and
we talked quarter to quarter, and we've been doing it. I think we were 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 again. So I think quarter. You do that again, and we're sitting right where we need to be.
Yep.
So the segment that's a great point. Segment the season, win this bye week, on the road, rinse and repeat. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Great. You got anything else for the people?
No, that's all I got. Go Blue, go Lions. We'll be back in touch with y'all next week. Go Pistons as well. They back in the mix now too.
Peace.